great-grandparents. This is not the Uganda they wanted us to live in. It is not yet late. We can do something about it. It is not Nkwene to do it. It is not only Dr. Besigye to do it. It is you and I and him and her and them that we can liberate our country. And we broaden our political rights with which we can expand ends to fill the information gap that has kept Ugandans indifferent, where one region or one religion or one sex has thought that the opposite is better or the other side is better, when actually we are all bad luck. We should not be made to believe that one region is not doing well is as a result of the other region. We Ugandans are suffering because of the pedestrian approach of Mr. Museveni and his cronies to the state affairs. In fact, most of us from Western Uganda, we are made to think that we support Museveni. Actually, I want to assure Ugandans that many people from Western Uganda have disowned Museveni. Is no longer theirs, they no longer take him as theirs. Me personally, no longer associate with him. I disowned him because of the suffering he has brought to Ugandans. In this book, I agree with Gene Sharp, where he talks about non-violence approaches to doing away with oppression and tyranny. We can use non-violence to do away with Museveni's dictatorship. Whereas violence approaches win faster the attention of the oppressor who has been hesitant to come on the table, I'm hesitant to recommend it. Has most of its effects are negative. However, I'm also hesitant to believe that in Uganda, where we are not allowed to assemble, where the media is not acting independent, where people are not allowed to go out and share their opinion, that non-violence will give us the change we need. And as Mr. Museveni has always put it to us, that is a kotapini. As I explained what a kotapini is, it is up to us to think whether we are going to remove him using our hands, or we need to use collective citizen action models. We come as citizens and remove him as all Ugandans. The choice is ours to make. Not mine alone, yours, his, and all of us. I explain a number of things in here. I explain the right revolution. I explain how to overcome oppression, how the oppressed can increase the power within themselves to overcome oppression. And above all, I believe in our generation. I share in here youth-led collective action models that have proved decisive in other parts of the world to dismantle systems of injustices, to promoting the rights of women and girls. I share them in here, and protecting the environment. So it is up to us to read it and see how we can duplicate and apply it here, or we choose to live in tyranny for our life, and our grandchildren and children will be asking us, Mom, Dad, what did you do about it? But as a believer, I believe that no matter the problem, something can be done about it. Ugandans do not lose hope. This country is ours. We are going to defend it. We are going to fight for it. We are going to fight for our freedom until we get it. Thank you very much. Let's keep our hope and dream alive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman Nkwene. Indeed, he has brought out the content of the book, and after the speech from the guest of honor, we are going to have an interactive session. I'm hoping that in that interactive session, we are going to start answering some of the questions that he has asked us. I feel indebted, and I feel I haven't done enough, and that we all haven't done enough, otherwise we wouldn't be having that problem. So let us listen from our guest of honor, the People's President, Dr. Susan S.J. You're welcome.
The author who has convened us here to launch his work, my colleagues and invited guests, members of the press. I am not as advantaged as those who have spoken before me, because I have not read the book, and so I can't make very specific observations about what it may or may not contain. Maybe before I make my brief remarks, let me point out that our mission, or the mission of our generation, was not just to remove the Obote dictatorship. No. Because I have had, I continue to hear that we did our part. What our generation called us to do, we did. We removed the Obote dictatorship. Now that is not capturing our mission, or the mission as certainly I understood it of my generation. I understood and still understand the mission of my generation as being the completion of the liberation process for the people of Uganda. Those who had struggled before us succeeded to free us from foreigners, from foreign control. The first liberation was a liberation from foreign domination. And it was a fight. It was an intense fight. That's what some people now seem not to appreciate. That the British did not just pack up their bags and go. They were here for 70 years, in which people lived subhuman lives. And they fought back, they struggled until they achieved liberation from that foreign domination. But when foreign domination ended, domination itself did not end. Domination continued, now from within. In other words, what happened in 1962 was not transfer of power from the British monarchy, because we were subjects of the Queen of England, the power did not come from the Queen of England to the people of Uganda. The power came from the Queen of England to new rulers of the people of Uganda. It did not descend to the people. The people who inherited the guns that controlled us continued controlling us with those guns. The second liberation, to which I offered myself as an activist, is to liberate ourselves from the domination that has persisted after foreign domination. And this is why you have heard me say that the struggle is to change from gun rule to people rule. In other words, finish that process of transferring power up to the people so that all power in Uganda comes from the people. And they lend it to to those they choose to use it for their benefit. And if they don't use it well, that they can withdraw it. That is what has been lacking. And that's why, obviously, since independence, no leader has ever changed because the people of Uganda have said so. The only change that we have had is from gun to gun. So our mission, the mission in which I participated, therefore, did not end by one dictator going and another dictator coming. And that's why I think my brother Kalinaki, who wrote something about my views, titled his book, The Unfinished Revolution. The revolution has a specific target, shifting power from government to the people. That's when the revolution ends. When people control their destiny, when leaders are servants of the people, and if they serve badly, they are thrown out and even punished. So that is just a correction. But to underscore, therefore, that my generation has failed up to now to achieve that. Some of us are still fighting, but now the younger generation must continue that struggle. That struggle is the same struggle. It now falls upon you to make sure that Uganda is liberated. Because those in my age and above, I think we are now less than 10% in the country. Uganda is a country of actually children. Below 18 years, you have about 60% of the population. So the task is upon you. Secondly, this imagery of a lion and a sheep should also be taken to its logical conclusion. Lions do not only defend their territory, they also eat the sheep. That's what happens. Sheep don't survive in the lion world. they are eaten. And I have been talking about an existential threat that we live in as Africans, not just Ugandans. As Africans, we face an existential threat. There is no way we shall be sheep and continue roaming in the world of lions. It doesn't happen. The world power number one, America, is not inhabited by its original inhabitants. These Trumps and Clintons and all these people who lead America, they are not original Americans. The original Americans are now in a museum. If you get to see some, they are being preserved by affirmative action. They are like we protect the animals from extinction. That's how the original inhabitants of those countries are. In America, in Canada, in Australia, in New Zealand, in those even South American areas, you know. I was there looking at those Incas and so on where they live, you know. Now they are being protected by affirmative action. Stop them from totally getting extinct. That is what is going to happen to us. If we don't get our act together, and very, very quickly, it's going to happen here. It's already happening. Those to take over have already arrived. The Chinese are taking big chunks of land. I don't think that there is now any Ugandan who has as much land as Chinese have here. The ones who are taking over land in Acholi, where they are already here. The Asians, the Europeans. We are on our way to extinction.